Hey guys, welcome to the channel. It's Alvin. Today's video is going to be a tip video for how to survive in the forest. On a clarification, this is not on how to beat the forest. There is a storyline, but I don't care about the storyline. I just like trying to survive for as long as possible. And that's what this is going to be about. So the first thing you're going to do when you get on this plane and you wake up is you're going to grab everything. Just anything you can grab, grab it. You've got your meds, your food, your alcohol, your soda, your passenger manifest. And don't worry about overeating. I have this on hardened survival, so I have to watch my calorie intake. But if you're playing on regular, even if you're playing on hardened survival, just eat it all, because you might not have anything for a little while. And then the axe. The axe is your final piece, and it's the most important. So, tip number 2, search for all the luggage. The higher difficulty the game is, the less luggage there will be. But you want to search for all the luggage, because there's super helpful stuff that you're going to really need. Step number 3 is make that spear, because that spear is going to come in handy when killing animals and fighting the cannibals that are in this game. It's just 2 simple sticks. It's really easy. But it one-taps a deer, which nothing else really does, and it's very frustrating when a deer runs away from you. Back to the luggage. You're going to have to do this quickly, because cannibals will show up pretty fast. I've tried making bases at the plane, and they just start swarming. And the second you fight them, more appear. It's like you ring the dinner bell the second you kill one. So there's also sticks and rocks. Make sure you're grabbing those, because they're really helpful. You can use them to build a lot of stuff. Now this luggage also has like different things in there, such as like watches and money and cloth and snacks, batteries, tapes, or not tapes, but tape. It's very helpful. All things you'll need later on. Tip number 4 is we're going to go straight to the main cannibal village. Now the plane lands, or crashes, I should say, in multiple locations, but they're all the same. Eventually, you know, there's like a pattern. So I got really lucky, and the main cannibal village is just right there. Now, the reason this itself is a tip is because it has so much stuff here. Like, you just gotta go here. Some examples of the stuff it has is it's got food, soda, dynamite, which is really helpful when you want to cut down some trees quickly. They have flares, cloth, and cloth you can grab as much as you want. I'm pretty sure it's just infinite inventory you can grab. It doesn't always spawn back here on hardened survival, but on regular, anytime you load back in the game, it'll do it. All this stuff will replenish. But yeah, you also have circuit boards, which are really good for making bombs. You got rope, which is really important. There's red paint, which you'll see in a little bit. Fuel for chainsaws, but I never even grab a chainsaw. It's really loud, and noise attracts cannibals. There's also arrows and the modern axe here, and the modern axe is going to be the most important item you grab. So there's lots and lots of cloth, as you can see, and there's, I think, 4 ropes you can get from being in here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 4. So, this one's kind of optional, but this is number 5. Make a bow. It's really, really helpful when fighting enemies, because you will literally one-shot any human enemy. Yes, there are non-human enemies in this game. You will one-shot them with a headshot. Doesn't matter how long, whether you've been playing this game for 7 days or if you're on day 120. You will still one-shot every human enemy you find. Now, if you notice, I'm being kind of chill with these guys. They aren't really attacking me yet. And that's because they don't know what I am yet. Eventually, if you keep your back to them, they will attack you. But if you just kind of stand your ground and don't get too close to them, they'll just kind of watch you for a little while. Yeah, there's blackberries right there. Those are pretty helpful to eat. They're only 1 calorie too. As you can see, I've been hit. If they hit you, it's game on. You're a target now. So if you saw that luggage that was there, it's got a weird like plaid decoration on it. That's strictly just clothing, and it does absolutely nothing. Now there's the red paint I was talking about, but because it was raining, the red paint wore off. Red paint makes them hesitate, and actually if you stand there, they will actually get down on their hands and knees, and they will pray to you. That goes into the storyline with some doctor who is experimenting on him and torturing him and stuff. He has red paint on. So now the reason I'm killing these guys is because of the next two steps. Well, two steps. When you kill them, birds land on them. Like, guaranteed, they'll just kind of like swarm the body almost. But you take them, right there, example, there's a bird. It's kind of hard to hit birds with a spear. But I'm planning on burning these bodies to get their bones. But I also need to kill these birds because I need their feathers to make arrows for the bow. You can't just like make them out of nothing. You actually got to craft them. Go ahead in your little booklet, make a fire. This is all just stuff that I like to do right here. This isn't necessary for you to survive quite yet, but it is very helpful. Them in all their nakedness. Don't stand in fire. It'll hurt you. It's pretty realistic, this game is. It'll do some damage. When you stab the bird, you can get its little meat. So now to make arrows, you need 1 stick and 5 feathers, and that will make 5 arrows. It's very helpful. You don't need it to get through the first day of the game, or first even week, but it's something that's really helpful in the long run. So I prefer to have it right away. It takes a little while for these guys to turn to bone. But once you have the bone, you can make bone armor, which is tip number 6. It's just 6 bones and a bunch of cloth. It's pretty simple. It's very helpful. It's really effective against enemies when you're fighting. Bonus tip. If you die in this game, the very first time you die, you get a get out of jail free card, and it'll take you to the cave we're actually about to go to in a little while. But that's it. If you die a second time, it's done. You have to start over. Game's gone. You have to go to your last load or start over. So this right here is why you make a bow. 1 shot, dead. 1 shot, dead. But now, if you miss, just shows you how much more damage these guys can take and how effective that headshot really is. Now you notice, I miss on that last one, I don't get that arrow back. If you miss, odds are you're not getting that arrow back. But if it's on the person or in the creature you're shooting, 9 times out of 10, you'll be able to grab those arrows right back, even in the middle of a fight. It's really helpful. This brings us to tip number 7. Right there, I assigned that to the left D-pad. You can assign tools and weapons to the left and bottom D-pads, which makes it really helpful. I prefer to do it with only weapons. But now that we've had our fun fighting enemies all day, wasted most of the day, we're going to go to this cave. So the giant tower of skulls, you'll see it. It's right next to one of the huts. And this brings us to number 8, the map and the compass. That stuff is very helpful. The map fills in as you move around, but it will only fill in after you've picked it up. So that's one of the reasons you want to get here so early, Because if you've walked around half the map and then you go and actually pick up the map, all of a sudden, all that walking you did isn't marked on there. So it's really nice to get this on day one. And this brings us to number 9. I could have made this tip its own video, honestly, its own walkthrough, but I figured I'd just include it in here because I feel like it's one of the first things you really need to do to get a good game going. We're going to get the modern axe. There's no enemies on that first part when you're walking through, and if you go and don't miss any turns, there's only going to be 3 cannibals total that you'll have to fight, but if you have the bow and arrow, it'll make it a lot easier. You actually don't need them. You can fight them with the axe, but I'm not very good at the close combat like that in this game, so I prefer to use the bow and arrow. And yeah, I don't recommend playing this game at night by yourself for the first time, because it's hard to see at night in the game. And if you're getting tired and all of a sudden you start hearing noise like this, it's a little scary, not gonna lie. This game is very realistic. It's one of the reasons I like it so much. But if you're sneaky, you should catch them sleeping, and you can actually one-tap them while they're sleeping. But I actually got a headshot there and lit them on fire. I'll talk more in the next video I make about the different types of arrows that you can make. I prefer the fire ones, but I'll go into more details on those later. So when you come down, basically, you're going to come down and take the very first left that you see, which is where that cannibal was. And then you're going to walk through here, and you have to crouch, and there's going to be 2 cannibals in here. I actually edited this because I get lost in this cave all the time. I've done this 1,000 times, and I still get lost. But that cannibal would normally be over here to the right in a little room I'm about to show you once I'm done making more of these, because I really don't want to get up close to these guys. Now you can go that way, but don't go to the left. You'll get stuck in there. So you're going to go to the right into this big room here. And normally they'd both be just kind of sleeping there, and you could sneak up on them. I don't know why they were awake the first time I came through here, because that's not normal. Try to make sure you get your headshots. It's a little insane on hard and survival how much damage these guys can take compared to one-tapping them with that headshot. When you're in the inventory like this, one of the reasons you should hotkey things is because even though you're in the inventory, they can still move around. So that's why I prefer to have weapons hotkeyed, like, you know, rather than having the axe, because if I need to cut down a tree, I can open my inventory and do it. Odds are there's not an enemy next to me while I'm cutting down a tree. But if I'm cutting down a tree and all of a sudden there's an enemy right behind me, I'd prefer to be able to just whip out that bow or that spear, because I like the spear because it keeps distance between you and the enemy as you hit them there. But you do not want these guys to get close to you, because they will hit you, and when they hit you, your screen kind of shakes a little, and it's hard to like really maneuver and fight back. But then you're going to take a left as soon as you get into that big room where the cannibals were. You're going to take the very first left and go down this very long little zip line here. And when you get down here, there's going to be loads of stuff for you to grab. Now you can only carry so many things of dynamite, so many things of soda, so many meds, so much alcohol, so many snacks, stuff like that. The only things that are infinite in this game is, I believe, leaves, tree sap, and cloth for sure. I don't know about money. But as you can see, that ugly plaid luggage only had clothes in it, and clothes does not affect anything. Even if you put on like, I put on like a long sleeve, you'd think that it would warm me up, but it does not. Dynamite too. You can't have unlimited dynamite. But there's more arrows in here, and those are actually a little stronger than the arrows you have. There's soda. There's more rope. There's more red paint. Which red paint doesn't stay on me very long because I don't care about swimming. Little stuff about the storyline. And the modern axe. The modern axe is super effective at blocking and cuts down trees in less than half as many hits as the regular axe you start with. Now to get out of the cave, literally just backtrack. Go exactly the way you came. Don't go anywhere else. And then, when you leave, you're going to follow these they're huts that are a little ways away from the rest of the huts. There's like a trail of them. Just follow that trail of huts. And try not to die, because enemies are really annoying. They can run faster than you. You will slowly build up speed and strength as you play the game. It's in your little survival guide. But you're going to run this way. Just keep running. If you run out of energy, by the way, just a little quick bonus tip here. If you drink a can of soda, it'll fill your energy bar right up. But it's a lot of calories, and you got to keep an eye on that when you're playing on hard and survival, because then you can actually get fat in this game. But there goes the red paint, because I got to swim across this. There are no enemies in water, by the way. You don't have to worry about... In the freshwater, at least. There are sharks in the ocean. But this brings us to number 10. Make your base at the fertile lands. This is the best place to start. It's called that because of the amount of plants and berries and wildlife that it has here. It's got your chicory, your marigold, your aloe, which is good stuff to make like health mixes and energy mixes. It's got rabbits, lizards, occasional deer who spawns by the tree line. And then it also has blueberries, twinberries, and snowberries. No blackberries, though. Do not eat the twinberries or the snowberries. They will hurt you, as you see here, because I ate the wrong one. This also has a pond with fish, and if you get a pot, which I'll show you how to later on, you can actually boil the water so you have a constant water supply. I will be making more tip videos for the forest, so if you would like to see those, don't forget to subscribe. Every subscription is appreciated, and I hope to see you on the next one.